So the Flash season 7 has been done for probably a month or so now. I want to do my full review over the season, give my overall opinions of it. And I want to be clear. My opinions I've given and my reviews that I've done throughout season 7 for, I think it was 17 out of the 18 episodes, they weren't false in any way. I meant what I said in those videos. I'm going to be repeating most of what I said in those videos in here whenever I said my opinions. But episodes like 7-12, which is Cisco's last episode, I'm going to be going into more because I didn't do a review on the episode. And it was because I didn't like it. I'll go into that in a minute. But that's what I mean. This video is not going to be really a review per se. It's going to be me giving my opinions overall the whole season and what I really think about it. So, yeah. You'll get the gist of the video when you start getting more into the video. Thanks for support lately. I appreciate it. Remember, I am uploading daily on my Shorts channel. At 12 p.m. Central, a new short will be out every day over on my Shorts channel. Retro Shorts. So go over there, subscribe to the channel. I'm uploading Arrowverse videos over there, so go watch those. They're like 50 seconds roughly. And I'm really liking doing it. So hope you guys who are watching those enjoy them. Thanks for support over there as well. And enjoy this video. So I know there's a lot of hate about Season 7. Season 7 wasn't the best season, or whatever. Season 6, going into 7, was ending the Mirror Monarch story, and that did not end well. I think everyone can agree on that. The Mirror Monarch could have ended better than it did. Same with the 4 storyline. The 4 storyline, which was the majority of the first half of the season, going into the middle of it, it had a lot of good episodes, like the Psych episode and the 704, which was kind of the introduction of it, were phenomenal episodes. I loved them. 706, 707, I think I liked, and then we kind of got into the end of it. 710, 711 were not the best of the episodes. Don't get me wrong, there were good scenes in it, but they weren't a good finale type episode that we needed for that arc. Now, something I want to add, the 4 storyline is not good in the comics. It isn't. And I streamed a couple days ago, and if you were there, you know I was going over this. No matter whether it was COVID or if it was the writing, which COVID did have an impact. I want to say that clear. COVID had an impact on the show. You could see it. This season would have been really different. And the Mirror Monarch would have ended really differently if COVID restrictions, can't talk, if COVID restrictions weren't in place. That would have ended completely differently than it did. Same with the 4 storyline. But still, the 4 storyline was bad in the comics. Doesn't matter how many good writers you get on the show, it still would have had a bad ending. I think that's something a lot of people don't get. Going into that interlude part 1 that Eric Wallace said was a thing, from 7, I think 12, 13, and 14, 712, I'm pretty sure it was 712. Yeah, 712 was Cisco's last episode. If you've been subscribed for a long time, you know I didn't do a review over Flash 712. The reason why I didn't was because I said earlier, I didn't like 712, and I hated myself for not liking the episode, because I love Cisco as a character, and it was his last episode. And I really didn't feel like the writing was done well. And I don't think it was because of COVID restrictions. I think it was literally because the writing was not done well. If they want to send Cisco off, it should have been in a better way than it was and not feel rushed. For me, as a fan of the show and as a fan of Cisco and himself, I don't think he had a good exit as he could have. That's just me as a fan and me as a major fan of Cisco Ramon on the show. And that's my opinion and view of him in the episode. Don't get me wrong, there were some good scenes, like the breakdancing part was hilarious. I loved that part. But in seeing Barry's speed, like, you can see like a billion berries running in and out of that stadium, that was a good scene. But for me, the rest of the episode was just, it was worse than the fourth storyline ending, which was a lot for me to say. I said on my Arrowverse server, 703 and 711 are one of the worst episodes this season had, because they were both horrible endings for a story arc. And then we go to 712, and it's like those episodes just rolled into one, and here's 712. It was a bunch of crap for me. And I know a lot of people liked it because it was mainly focusing on Cisco, but for me personally, it could have ended better than it did. 714, which I believe Barry or Grant wasn't in it, and everyone hated the episode because Grant wasn't in it. I loved 714. 702, 714, and the last 4 episodes in 7 were amazing, and I loved it. In 701, I love 701. There could have been better scenes, but the opening season of 701 was amazing as well. But the reason why people hated 714 was because Grant wasn't in it. It's not called Barry Allen. It's called The Flash. And the show has said so many times for the past 7 years that The Flash is more than just Barry Allen. It's Team Flash. And we hadn't developed Allegra or Ultraviolet or any of those characters. And this was that opportunity to do it. We had just finished the fourth storyline arc. We had said goodbye to Cisco in 712. 713, I think, was a SEAL-orientated episode with Barry in it, obviously. And that was developing Cecile's character, which ended up helping down the road in season 7. Allegra's character was developed, which, again, ended up helping later down in the season. But 98% of the Arrowverse community hated on 714, mainly because Grant wasn't in it. And again, it is just total bullcrap to me that people can't realize that The Flash is more than just Barry Allen. Arrow is more than just Oliver Queen. Supergirl is more than just Kara Danvers. It's more than just the person who's wearing the suit. And that's what that's what that episode was trying to symbolize. But no one could open their eyes and use their brains to realize that, besides a very few people. And I have respect for those people who realize that. People like Flash First and a couple of our YouTubers, not sending hate towards them, didn't do reviews on 714 because Grant wasn't in it, and I was just like, really? I'm not going to go into that, but that's my point. Just because Grant's not in it doesn't mean it's going to be a bad episode. People were judging this episode, saying it's going to be a 0 out of 10, it's going to make the season 100 times worse than it was, just because Grant's not in it. Grow up. You have to remember, this is during COVID. We're lucky we even got a summer season when we did. Not saying it wouldn't have happened, but we are extremely lucky we even got a summer season when we did. During COVID, and there were COVID restrictions, and the actors needed breaks. Grant took a break during 714 so he could have personal time for mental health, which I'm going to go into another actor in a minute regarding that situation, which affected the season later on, but that was a thing going on. So if people are really hating Grant for him leaving for an episode, you do what he does during COVID, and you see if you need a break after several months of filming, and he decides to take one episode off and everyone hates him for it. Grow up. Or hate the show and the writing. It was the best writing that season's had up to that point, besides 702 and a couple other episodes before that. Seriously, I really don't get that for 714 besides Grant wasn't in it. That's the only thing people hate on. It's the reason why a lot of people didn't do reviews over it. It's grow up. Now, 715, I think, really kick-started season 7. Like I said, 702 and other episodes were phenomenal. But I think 715 really brought people into season 7, which what really made it a good season overall, was the fact that Godspeed, we finally got him as the quote-unquote big bad or main villain, and he was only around for 4 episodes. That part I hated. I wish they probably took out that Cisco episode, put it in season 6, or try to put it in season 6. Obviously, COVID, they couldn't, but or take the seal episode out, leave the Grant missing episode in, and have 5 or 6 episodes of Godspeed. That would have been great. but with what they were given and the time they were given with 18 episodes, I think they did a great job with the season overall. Now, if you didn't notice, Iris, aka Candace Payton, who plays Iris on the show, wasn't in, I think, 14, 15, 16, and half of 17, or even a majority of 17. That's because Candace Payne took a break longer than intended. She was supposed to be gone for an episode or two. She took off several months, or not months, sorry, like around a month or so. Several weeks, around a month. Without really telling anyone. And in 7-15, I think even 16, like when Barry's on the phone with Iris and it was those weird scenes, that was why. Because Candace was supposed to be there and she wasn't. She didn't tell anyone she was going to be gone. So that was just like a last minute introduction to a scene, which I didn't think was that bad, but you could definitely tell there was something off with those scenes. And I don't think it was the writing. You can't really blame anyone else but Candace, which again, COVID, they need a break. So I can understand why Candace did that, and it was a last minute thing. But honestly, if you're going to blame anyone, blame Candace. I don't really see blaming the writing, and I don't want to put a lot of blame on Candace because I understand where she was at. But at the same time, if Candace didn't take more time off without telling people, that scene would have been better. That's just how I view it. I think that's even a known fact by now. That's just how I'm saying that. So, deal with it. But 7-15 was amazing. We finally got a natural fight scene, I think, throughout the whole season. Again, because of COVID restrictions kind of got a little bit better when they were filming those episodes. So we did get a fight scene between Barry and Godspeed. People were hating on it because Barry's like he got his butt kicked by a speedster for the umpteenth time. And then those 6 Godspeeds showed up and he got beat again. And people are saying that Oliver could have beaten him. Even if Oliver was in that situation against 6 people that are exactly like him, he still would have lost. It doesn't matter if Barry could have trained like Oliver, he still would have lost. I think that's something, again, people are hating on the show for because they're writing so bad that Barry lost to a bunch of speedsters who were fighting him all at once. You do that. You do what Barry does, and you see if you lose. Spoiler alert, you're going to lose. That's inevitable. You're not going to win against that. Which is why they brought in Jay, Bart, Nora, Speed Force Nora, and Iris to help Barry fight. That was the whole thing in 7-15 and 7-16. That was leaning up to 7-17 and 7-18 to bring in other speedsters to help fight this. And then 7-16 with Dig, that was a really good episode, better than 7-15. And 7-17, 7-18, 7-17 could have been better. The reason why I don't like 7-17 that much, and I did do a review over it, but the reason why I didn't care for 7-17 that much was simply because there were so many plot holes introduced by Nora and Bart simply going from 2049 to, I'm forgetting what year, to 2021, and then them what? Being gone for 3 weeks or however long Godspeed was there? That makes no sense to me, and they could have fixed the writing on that part, but that pretty much just set the episode off as bad for me. There were good scenes, but there were definitely a majority of the episode was bad for me. 7-18 with Jay being in it, I think 7-18 Jay was in it. There was in 7-17, but whenever Jay came in, it made the episode 100 times better. John Wesley plays Jerry Garrick amazing on the show, and I love him as an actor. I love him on The Flash, obviously. He made the episodes, the finale for season 7, 100% better. And 7-18 with all the speedsters fighting the Godspeeds, that was a good scene. 7-18, and then with Thawne showing up in the lightning swords, it was amazing to me. Again, a lot of people hated on it because it wasn't that long. It was like the longest fight scene next to 7-15. Like, it was that lengthy. If you really go back and look at it, yeah, it probably could have been a little bit better. But at the same time, remember, COVID restrictions, and they are limited to what they can do. And also, people who are hating on Eric Wallace, he's the one who brought that idea, and everyone laughed at him for it because they thought it wasn't possible. But he pulled it off, and it made the finale 100 times better than it already was at that point. He got to bring Thawne back and help fight Godspeed, and at the same time, bring in a new mechanic to the show, which was Speed Force constructs, like lightning swords or throwing stars or throwing the cap or whatever. We got to see that in the finale in 717 as well. But seeing the lightning swords and having a lightning sword battle with Godspeed and Thawne, and then Barry being like 100 times faster than Thawne at the end of the finale, it was a pretty damn good thing to do. And again, people hitting on Eric Wallace. If you like that scene, that was Eric Wallace's idea. He wrote that finale, and the finale, again, was pretty damn good. Eric Wallace knows how to write finales, and he could do a pretty good job. Now, again, this season, we are lucky we even got it because of COVID, because of the fact that, COVID really did impact everything related to the show, filming and everything. It was hard for them to film. You can't deny that it was hard for them to film. But, and it definitely, the first half of the season really took an impact. But the way the season ended and the way the beginning of the season went was really, really well done. And I think that's something we need to give the writers and everyone on that show credit for. No matter what you think of the fourth storyline, no matter what you think of 712 and 713 or 14, the beginning and ends of season 7 were borderline amazing. And if you can't see that, you need to go back and rewatch it. I truly think if you rewatch those, the beginning and end of season 7, like 714, maybe 15, to 718 and 701, 702, you will really see this season overall is a good season, minus 703 through like 711, maybe for some of you, 712. It's a really good season. It's not the best. Season 2 and 1, I think for me, and probably for a lot of people, are the best seasons of The Flash. Maybe season 4 in some cases. But season 7 is definitely better than season 6 by a long shot. And definitely season 5. And honestly, probably season 3. If you really look at it, season 7 was a good season. And again, I get the hate that it was getting. But at the same time, like I said, for 714, that hate was really unnecessary because Grant wasn't in it. People were hating on it. The fourth storyline ended horribly. But again, it ended horribly in the comics. So you can't really blame anyone there. Besides DC Comics themselves. Because, again, fourth storyline ended horribly in the comics. And they went off of that. You can't blame anyone for that. Because it ended horribly in the comics. And again, this season was filmed during COVID. We are lucky we got, I was going to say Batwoman, but Batwoman season 2 was horrible. We are lucky we got Flash season 7. We're lucky we got Superman and Lois season 1, Stargirl season 2 that we're getting right now. And we are lucky we are getting Supergirl's final season coming back this coming up Tuesday, this current point in time recording. I don't know when you're watching this, but if you're watching this like in October, it's already been done. But, we are lucky we are getting these things. And in a way, this is going down as history. We're going to look back at this in like 2 years and be like, season 7 wasn't that bad of a season, and it was filmed during a pandemic, for crying out loud. Not a lot of shows can say that, besides Flash, Stargirl, Batwoman, and Superman and Lois, and Crappy Legends, which was crappy anyways. And, Stargirl and Supergirl and all those. We had to look back and say these shows took a lot to do during COVID to get what we got. It's not perfect. It's not even the best. But they did a pretty damn great job at giving us a Flash show and a Flash season, even with the restrictions in place. I think that's something, at least I would hope, every Flash fan of the show can realize and can actually, for a fact, say, during COVID, with COVID restrictions, they did a pretty damn good job with season 7. I would at least hope a lot of you can say that. Because they really did. If you really look at it, they did a good job during COVID restrictions. So that's just how I view it. You can say your opinions in the comments down below. I will respect them. So let me know in the comments down below what your overall thoughts on season 7. Again, I think it was a good season, especially with COVID restrictions and that whole mess and debacle. It was a really good season overall. Again, wasn't the best, but it's the best we could have gotten. So yeah. Thanks for watching the video. Hit the like button down below if you're new. Subscribe if you're new. Thanks for the support. Have a good day, have a good night, whatever time it is for you. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye, guys.